Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. President Draupadi Murmu to visit Angola, Botswana from November 8 to 13 to boost global South ties. This is the first ever visit by an Indian head of state to the two African nations. Prime Minister Modi to flag off 4 new Vande Bharat trains in Varanasi today. Significant step towards expanding India's modern rail infrastructure. US and Britain remove sanctions on Syria's president a day after the United States Security Council. In fact, the United Nations Security Council did the same. EU confirms to follow suit. Trump says Senate should not leave town until shutdown deal is reached. Longest government shutdown in the US history enters its 38th day. North Korea threatens offensive action, condemns US-South Korea security talks. US military says no immediate threat to US, highlights destabilizing impact of Pyongyang's actions. India will aim to seal the series as they take on Australia in the 5th and final match in Brisbane today. The visitors lead 2-1. President Draupadi Murmu is set to embark on a visit to Angola and Botswana, commencing with Angola in the initial phase. This trip represents the inaugural visit by an Indian president to Angola and holds immense importance, particularly as India and Angola mark the 40th anniversary of establishing diplomatic relations in 2025. The visit is anticipated to culminate in the signing of several key agreements, thereby imparting fresh impetus and vigor to the bilateral relationship between the two nations. DD India's Akash Popli caught up with the Indian ambassador to Angola, Dr. Vidhu P. Nair. Let's listen in.
On the occasion of the historic visit of the Honorable President of India to Angola, we are joined today by the Ambassador of India to Angola, Dr. Vidhu P. Nair. The President visits marks a new chapter in the growing friendship and cooperation between India and Angola. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, what is the main objective of the President's visit to Angola? How significant do you see the visit in context of India's Angola relations?
This is a truly historic visit. First of all, because this is the first ever visit by an Indian president to Angola. It also happens during a year where India and Angola are celebrating the 40th anniversary of establishment of diplomatic relations. Angola, of course, is celebrating the 50th anniversary of its independence. The invitation for this visit was extended to our Rashtrapati ji when the President of Angola, His Excellency João Lourenço, went on a state visit to India in May this year. That was again a very historic one because it was the first high-level exchange between the two countries in a span of 38 years.
Which sectors currently form the strongest pillar of India's Angola relation?
Well, Angola and India share a very vibrant energy partnership. Angola is a major source of crude oil to India from Africa. In fact, it is the second largest source of petroleum after Nigeria in Africa. They are also a big source of LNG, liquefied natural gas, to India. In fact, one of the largest top 5 to 6 providers of LNG to India in the world. Angola is also one of the leading producers of diamonds in the world, and as we know, around 85 to 90% of the diamond polishing, cutting and polishing take place in India, and many Indian companies purchase rough diamonds from Angola with this purpose. India has been one of the top trade partners of Angola for quite a few years now. We provide a lot of valuable items to Angola, such as pharmaceuticals, medicines and vaccines, automobiles, food items, especially cereals, machinery, and also refined oil products. Our bilateral trade has grown in the last calendar year to more than 5.5 billion US dollars. And if you look at the financial year, it would be around slightly more than 5 billion US dollars. This is actually around 20 to 25% increase in comparison to the previous financial year.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Varanasi on Saturday. In a significant step towards expanding India's modern rail infrastructure, Prime Minister will flag off 4 new Vande Bharat Express trains. The new Vande Bharat Express trains will operate on Banaras Khajuraho, Lucknow Saharanpur, Firozpur Delhi and Ernakulam Bengaluru routes. By significantly reducing travel time between major destinations, these trains will enhance regional mobility, promote tourism and support economic activity across the country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the National Conference on Strengthening Legal Aid Delivery Mechanism on Saturday at 5 p.m. at the Supreme Court. Prime Minister will launch the Community Mediation Training Module by the National Legal Services Authority and address participants. The 2-day event will discuss the Legal Aid Defence Council system, panel lawyers, paralegal volunteers, permanent Lok Adalats and financial management of legal service bodies. The conference aims to enhance access to justice and streamline legal aid across India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the year-long commemoration of 150 years of the national song Vande Mataram. The Prime Minister said that it reminds us not only about how our freedom was won, but how we must safeguard it. DD India's Tripri Tripathi gets us more.
Vande, Vande.
The 150th anniversary of Vande Mataram, a song that stirs every soul and fills the heart with joy. Rekindles the spirit of an era when India under colonial rule was shaping its identity through its cultural heritage. As a commemorative postage stamp and coin were released today, the moment served as a tribute to the nation's timeless legacy and a promise to carry it forward. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that Vande Mataram has attained immortality, remaining relevant across generations, while strongly condemning divisive ideologies that attempt to fragment India's unity.
दुर्भाग्य से 1937 में वंदे मातरम के महत्वपूर्ण पदों को, उसकी आत्मा के एक हिस्से को अलग कर दिया गया था। वंदे मातरम के इस विभाजन ने देश के विभाजन के बीज भी बो दिए थे। राष्ट्र निर्माण का ये महामंत्र, इसके साथ ये अन्याय क्यों हुआ, ये आज की पीढ़ी को भी जानना जरूरी है, क्योंकि वही विभाजनकारी सोच देश के लिए आज भी चुनौती बनी हुई है।
Marking 150 years of the national song Vande Mataram, the celebrations will continue from November 7 this year till November 7 next year. The song was written by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay on November 7, 1875. Prime Minister also launched the website vandemataram150.in, highlighting that Vande Mataram is not merely a song of freedom, but a vision of free India itself. It echoed the emotions of every Indian and infused the freedom struggle with a new consciousness. PM Modi said that in today's complex geopolitical landscape, India's spirit and its vision stand unique, rooted in its own civilizational consciousness.
राष्ट्र को एक जियोपॉलिटिकल एंटिटी मानने वालों के लिए राष्ट्र को मां मानने का विचार हैरानी भरा हो सकता है, लेकिन भारत अलग है। भारत में मां जननी भी है और मां पालनहारिणी भी है। अगर संतान पर संकट आ जाए तो मां संहारकारिणी भी है।
Prime Minister Modi urged everyone to work together to make this century the century of India. Cautioning against those who spread negativity and doubt, PM called for collective resolve to overcome such divisive tendencies. PM Modi said The essence of Vande Mataram lies in its eternal devotion to the motherland, a reflection of India's timeless ethos. PM Modi added, India has carved out a distinctive cultural identity, balancing strength with morality, and this harmony defines the intellectual and moral power of our civilization. With Bureau inputs, Tripti Tripaঠি's report for DD India.
The stirring words of Vande Mataram have echoed through India's freedom struggle. Today, they continue to ignite the same pride, unity and patriotism. As the nation marks 150 years of the national song, celebrations are taking place across India and the world.
From Jammu and Kashmir in the north to Tamil Nadu in the south, the entire India is united in celebration, proving once again that Vande Mataram is more than just a national song. It is a shared emotion that binds every Indian together in pride, heritage, and patriotic spirit. India's Home Minister Amit Shah participated in a grand celebration in Patna in the state of Bihar, highlighting the powerful message of unity and patriotism that Vande Mataram carries. Vande! Vande! Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Mohan Yadav attended a commemorative program in Bhopal, while in Tripura, Chief Minister Dr. Manik Saha called the national song a source of inspiration for every Indian. In Goa, Chief Minister Pramod Sawant joined celebrations, underscoring Vande Mataram's profound cultural significance and its role in symbolizing national pride. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. The celebration wasn't limited to India. Indian embassies and Indian communities abroad raised their voices in unison, singing Vande Mataram to commemorate 150 years of its glorious legacy. In Qatar, the Embassy of India in Doha organized a mass singing event, echoing the spirit of patriotism across the Gulf. In Minsk, diplomats and Indian nationals joined together, reaffirming the song's cultural legacy. In Saudi Arabia, embassy officials stood proudly together to sing Vande Mataram, a tribute to India's indomitable spirit. Tokyo witnessed a melodious celebration as students sang the national song with pride, connecting the next generation to India's heritage. And in Jakarta, officials and staff at the Indian Embassy marked the momentous occasion in a heartfelt tribute to the national song. Embassy of India in Kathmandu organized mass singing of the Rashtriya Geet Vande Mataram with participation of students and teachers. Vande Mataram, a song that transcends borders, unites hearts and continues to echo the undying spirit of our nation. Nishroy Roy's report for DD India.
And now let's take a look at other stories making it to the headlines from across India now. A delegation led by Union Minister Dr. Virendra Kumar has carried the sacred relics of Lord Buddha from Delhi to Bhutan for public exposition. The relics housed at the National Museum will be displayed from November 8th to 18th as part of the Global Peace Prayer Festival. The event also marks the 70th birth anniversary of Bhutan's 4th king, Jigme Singye Wangchuk. Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Mohan Yadav distributed appointment letters to newly recruited employees of the Forest and Health Departments in Bhopal. Addressing the gathering, he lauded the new recruits and urged them to work with dedication and public service spirit. The event marked another step in the state government's ongoing recruitment drive. Jamaica and Cuba have expressed deep gratitude to India for its humanitarian aid following Hurricane Melissa, which caused massive devastation across the Caribbean. India had sent 20 tons of relief materials, including medical supplies, solar lanterns, generators and trauma units, aboard an IAF C-17 aircraft. Leaders from both the nations praised India's timely support, calling it a true reflection of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that is, the world is one family. You're watching DD India Live. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, US President pulls out of the upcoming G20 summit in South Africa, citing alleged human rights abuses against the white Afrikaner farmers. US and Israel come down heavily on Iran for trying to kill the Israeli ambassador to Mexico.
Tell us whether the British were really interested in religion, or was this all about politics?
The British wanted to know as much about it as they could. But what they got was not necessarily a truly accurate reflection of the lived reality. It doesn't matter what your religion is as long as the man is good.
I cannot not ask you about the Kerala story, that contentious, controversial movie.
It really was not just propaganda, it was just blatantly false.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching TD India Live. A senior European Union negotiators team visited New Delhi from 3rd to 7th of November for the intensive India-European Union Free Trade Agreement discussions. Commerce Secretary Rajesh Agrawal and European Commission Director General Sabine Weyand led a two-day stocktake on November 5th and 6th, reviewing goods, services, investment, sustainable development and technical barriers. Both the sides noted substantial progress, narrowed divergences and agreed to accelerate efforts for a balanced pact. India stressed clarity on carbon border adjustment mechanism and steel rules. Technical engagements will continue to bridge gaps and finalize the ambitious, growth-oriented agreement soon. India has accused Pakistan of engaging in clandestine and illegal nuclear activities. The External Affairs Ministry spokesperson said that these actions reflect Pakistan's long history of smuggling, export control violations and secret proliferation networks.
Clandestine and illegal nuclear activities are in keeping with Pakistan's history that is centered around decades of smuggling, export control violations, secret partnerships, AQ Khan network, and further proliferation. India has always drawn the attention of the international community to these aspects of Pakistan's record. In this backdrop, we have taken note of President Trump's comment about Pakistan's nuclear testing.
Taliban and Pakistan were locked in crunch peace talks in the Turkish city of Istanbul on Friday after deadly border fighting threatened a fragile truce. The talks in Turkey were meant to cement a ceasefire agreed in Qatar last month, which ended a week of fierce clashes that killed dozens. The neighbors were quick to blame each other for the border fire while reiterating their commitment to negotiations. Islamabad accuses Kabul of harboring militant groups, particularly the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan that carries out attacks inside Pakistan. The United States on Friday formally removed Syrian President Ahmad al-Shara from a terrorism blacklist. The State Department said in a statement that these actions are being taken in recognition of the progress demonstrated by the Syrian leadership after the departure of former President Bashar al-Assad. Earlier, UNSC voted to remove sanctions on Syrian President Ahmad al-Shara, with a resolution receiving 14 votes in favor, with only China abstaining. The European Union is also expected to lift its remaining restrictions soon, calling it the start of a new chapter in Syria's global reintegration. A European Union spokesperson said on Friday that the UN decision would be reflected in EU measures, while Britain has also lifted some sanctions on Syria in April. European Commission spokesperson said that the bloc remained committed to supporting a peaceful and inclusive Syrian-led and Syrian-owned transition to help build a better future for all the Syrians. North Korea on Saturday condemned the recent South Korea-US joint military exercises and the recent visit by US and Korean officials to an inter-Korean border. Now, according to the state media, North Korea Defense Minister No Kwang-chol threatened to take more offensive actions and said the visit of the U.S. nuclear-powered aircraft carrier George Washington to Busan, South Korea, this week escalated the tensions on the Korean peninsula. Meanwhile, the U.S. military and South Korea's defense ministry in a statement condemned North Korea's launch of a missile towards the sea off the North's east coast on Friday. In a statement, U.S. military said that North Korea's launch of a ballistic missile earlier on Friday does not pose an immediate threat to the United States or its allies, but it highlights the destabilizing impact of Pyongyang's actions. U.S. President Donald Trump announced on Friday that no United States government officials will attend the G20 summit in South Korea on 22nd and 23rd of November, citing alleged human rights abuses against white Afrikaner farmers. Donald Trump posted on his Truth Social saying that it is a total disgrace that the G20 will be held in South Africa. The decision overrides September plans for Vice President J.D. Vance to represent the United States. South African officials deny any persecution, calling the assertions false. Tensions have escalated over trade tariffs, refugee policies, prioritizing white South Africans, and Pretoria's International Court of Justice case against Israel. Trump eagerly anticipates hosting the 2026 summit at his Miami golf resort. U.S. President Donald Trump departed the White House for Florida on Friday as the nation's longest government shutdown entered its 38th day. He has urged the Senate to remain in Washington until a deal is reached to the end, intensifying pressure on Congress to reach a funding deal. The Trump administration continues to press Democrats to agree to a Republican funding plan to reopen the government. The shutdown has forced 13,000 air traffic controllers and 50,000 security screeners to work without pay, causing rising absenteeism. U.S. Transportation Secretary John Duffy has warned airlines may be forced to cut up to 20% of flights if the deadlock continues. The Federal Aviation Administration instructed airlines to cut 4% of the flights on Friday at 40 major airports due to the government shutdown. Now, the cuts will rise to 10% by November 14th. Separately, air traffic controller absences forced the FAA to delay hundreds of flights at 10 airports, including Atlanta, San Francisco, Houston, Phoenix, Washington, D.C., and Newark. There were more than 5,300 flights delayed, according to FlightAware, a flight tracking website. Meanwhile, the U.S. Senate on Friday rejected legislation to resume paychecks for hundreds of thousands of federal workers, even as President Donald Trump urged lawmakers to stay in Washington until a deal is reached to end what he called the Democrat shutdown. The United States and Israel on Friday accused Iran of trying to kill the Israeli ambassador to Mexico, with Tehran rejecting the claim as a big lie. Israel said that the Mexican authorities had intervened to stop the attempt to kill the ambassador, Einath Kranzniga, while the U.S. officials said that the elite Quds force of Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps initiated the plot to kill Ambassador Niger in late 2024 and that it was disrupted this year. The purported assassination attempt came as tensions soared to new highs between Israel and Iran, which have each attacked the other's territory. Rejecting the claim, Iran's embassy in Mexico called the alleged plot a great big lie. On to sports, India will eye the series win as they take on Australia in the fifth and final T20 international match in Brisbane today. This visitors lead the series 2-1 after the first match was washed out. They came back strongly with back-to-back wins after losing the second match. The team management might bring in a few changes. They could bring in Sanju Samson, who hasn't played since the second match, in place of Jitesh Sharma. Also, with the South African series starting next week, pacer Jasprit Bumrah could be rested. On the other hand, Australia will hope to draw the series by winning the game. Novak Djokovic has a chance to add to his 100 career ATP titles as the former world #1 will face Lorenzo Musetti in the final of the Hellenic Championship in Athens today. The 38-year-old dropped serve for only the second time in the competition, but still cruised into the final with a 6-3, 6-4 victory over Yannick Hanfmann. His last semi-final victory was at Geneva event in May when he went to beat Hubert Hurkacz in the final of his 100th career singles title. On the other hand, Musetti beat Sebastian Korda in the thrilling 3-set encounter in the semi-final. Musetti took the final set to love before losing a tight second set and then edging the decider to win 6-0, 5-7, 7-5. Victory over Djokovic will not only secure Musetti a first title of the season, but will also result in a debut appearance at the season-ending ATP Finals in Italy next week. Hong Kong is gearing up for its annual Winter Fest starting next Friday. The 3-week celebration will transform Central into a glittering Christmas town with a 20-meter tree at Statue Square and a festive market along the Chatter Road. For the first time, 8 Central landmarks will feature a nightly 3D light and music show.
Statue Square and a cozy Christmas market made up of 12 wooden shallows.
All right, that's it in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. Now, this app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can download the respective QR codes. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.